these are the kinds of barrels that we use. There's quite a variety here of different manufacturers and different forests, as in oak that's grown in different locations in France. And some of these barrels have been specifically selected for Lentedal Shiraz, and this is where it'll find its happy home for a period of about 11 months. The bottling will happen in the following year, in January or early February of the following year, and that will free up the barrels ready for use for the next season. An integral part of the process is to have access to very efficient, very good cooling. So these plates on the outsides of the tanks actually have a liquid that runs through at about -10 degrees Celsius, and at various times they'll be on for long enough to actually form a coating of ice. So you can see that that ice has to go somewhere at some point, so when the wine is removed from that cooling or it's turned off, it'll fall onto the ground, usually with a large bang. This is the yeast that's in the process of being rehydrated and conditioned, ready to add to the tank. So as you can see, it is a living organism. It isn't ectoplasm. It's actually in the process of building up and reproducing, and it's pretty much the same stuff that makes bread. It smells like bread. It smells great, and that'll be ready to go into the tank, and the yeast will then start eating the sugar and producing alcohol and carbon dioxide, and then we'll end up with wine. And this is where the waste materials go. You can see that there are skins and stalks and the leftover parts of the process, and these bits will be mixed up with lime and rotated around and carted away and decomposed over a period of time, and generally sold back to us as composted soil and vegetable soil and things like that. So it's a very ecologically sound way of dealing with the waste.
Okay, so that's a little bit about the still wine. Now we're going to go over and we'll show you how the sparkling wine is made. Sparkling wine is basically an add-on process to the still wine. So you start out with a still wine and then you go on to make the sparkling wine. So we're going to go across and meet up with John Fraser, and he's going to show us how to make sparkling wine.
Yes, I'm John Fraser. This is Champagne Sheds, where we process sparkling wines. We've been doing it now for 15 plus years. Yeah, and today we'll be doing some Lentedal sparkling, putting the secondary ferment, putting the wine in the bottle, ready for the secondary ferment in the bottle.
John Fraser is recognised in the Margaret River area as being the guru for making sparkling wine. So John takes our base wine from Peter Stanley, and he then turns it into our sparkling wine. He also has a beautiful facility down at Fraser Wines. Sparkling wine is basically an additional process on top of still wine. So our winemaker makes a base wine, and then we take it down to John, and he puts the base wine into the sparkling bottles. Once it's topped up in the sparkling bottles, we add a little bit of sugar, a little bit of yeast, and then we put a crown cap on top, similar to a beer bottle. This process is called the second fermentation. So it's basically a mini fermentation that takes place in the sparkling bottle. This process takes about 2 years, and if it's done properly you get super fine bubbles. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea how we make our wines, still wine and sparkling wine. So all I have to do now is say thank you very much for watching, and come and join us in Western Australia sometime. Cheers from Lentedal Vineyard.